welcome to Performance Management. This is Dr. Rich, and I just wanted to say hello and welcome you guys to the class and spend just a couple minutes going through, well, probably a little more than a couple minutes, but when I go through some highlights in the syllabus and kind of walk through the Canvas site. I'm assuming that most of you have had an online class before, probably even at UWF. If not, that's okay. I just want to start by saying that the focus of this orientation intro is not on how to use Canvas, but more on kind of specific things about this course, trying to show you the structure, trying to help you navigate things that might be different or unique for this course. So, having said that, don't panic if you are struggling, if this is your first online class, if you're new to Canvas, whatever, just shoot me an email and we can set up a time to go through some or all of this information in more detail. Definitely can help you get started at whatever level of knowledge you are with Canvas. So that's one of my things, is I don't want you, especially the online classes, I don't want you struggling with the administrative or technical side of the course. So let's just start off by telling you how to get in touch with me, and then we will move on to kind of talk more about the specific assignments and kind of what to expect and how to manage your time and things of that nature. So this semester, all my classes are online, so I will have I will post online office hours. Okay, and the link in the syllabus, this is to my Google Calendar, so you can view those. However, let me say that my schedule is very flexible, and I don't post all of my availability in Google Calendar because what has happened in the past is no matter how much time I block off or set up or show that I'm available, it never seems to work with everyone's schedule, right? Because everybody's busy working, has a lot going on. So I typically just post the minimum that we're required to post on my calendar. Of course, those are blocks of time where you can pop in, pop out, virtually through Zoom or if you want. But just know that I'm available pretty much most of the time from about 9. My good hour or my good time is between normally 9 and 1. I normally got time then. I'm normally on my computer, and then again in the late afternoon, evenings. Weekends are flexible as well. So don't feel that you have to, if you want to talk to me about anything, don't feel like you have to go through the office hour calendar scheduling. You can just send me a text or email and we can set it up informally like that as well. So I've got my cell phone number here. I do not have an office phone, so I ask that you always text before calling, so I don't answer unknown numbers, so I won't answer if you call. Anyway, so send me a text if you need to have a phone call, phone conversation, and normally I will say, okay, now's good, or give me an hour, or give me 30 minutes, or whatever. I do ask that students use discretion on when to use text versus email. So just common sense. If you are trying to document something, if you're going to be out of the country during the exam testing window, and you are trying to see if you can take it early or late, and we're talking a week, 2 weeks down the road, that would be something you want to email. One, you want to, it's easier to document through email. It's not urgent, and it's easier to track, right? So I can refer to that. I can look it up. So use texting as a way. What I really, if you're working on something, whether it's an assignment, your notes for a chapter, and you have a question about something, or maybe you're meeting with your group and y'all don't understand part of the assignment, or you're not sure which direction to take, you need clarification, that's a great reason to text me. So if you need immediate help, okay? Now I can't guarantee that I will be able to jump on a Zoom call, but most of the time I can, or I can say, okay, give me a second. Definitely don't have to type me a novel in your phone, but you can just kind of say, hey, we're struggling with this. Do you have a second? And we'll schedule a time to talk. I am teaching several classes this semester, like every semester, but so I do have a couple of requirements. Whether you're texting or emailing me, please include always, so whenever you start a new conversation, even if you've texted me 3 weeks ago about something else, if you're sending me a new text, tell me your name and what course you're in. Honestly, all the course numbers start to run together after a while, so it would be most helpful if you say performance management, shortened version, PER, MGT. Performance management. And this course is cross-listed, so I've got some graduate students and undergraduate students. So it also would help if you'd say, this, I'm Sally Joe, I'm in your performance management graduate section or your undergraduate, and I have some questions. Okay, so do that, whether it's email or text, and we'll be rocking and rolling. Okay, the first week of class, I need you to verify your attendance. So, depending again, I tell you to make sure you choose the right code here. The wrong one won't work. So, trial and error would work too. But I've got one for undergraduate, the first one, graduate. This is the second one. So you could just turn on your phone, the camera function, and it should pick up, if it's an iPhone, pick up this QR code. It'll take you to the right spot to verify your attendance, I believe. You'll probably, if you're on your phone, just have to, you'll have to log in to my UWF. If not, you can also log into my UWF from your laptop, go into Classmate. You'll click on this course through your Classmate, and then there is a tab, like where you will normally see different information. There's a tab at the top that will say check in, okay, from the horizontal menu, and then it should prompt you for one of these codes. So you will prompt you for a code. Enter the undergraduate or graduate code, and this confirms that you are intending to stay in the class. A lot of this has to do with the financial aid stuff, so do that before the end of the first week to make sure you don't get dropped. Now, if you are having issues doing that, it worked last semester. Was the first time I think I used this check me in function, and a couple students had issues, but for the most part it worked good. So let me know if you got problems, if you're not able to do it, by all means, and I can help you with that, but hopefully that will work. Okay, I'm not going to read through everything in the syllabus. You can read through it. It just kind of talks about some of the learning outcomes, what we're going to be doing. So the course is called Performance Management, but there are 2 textbooks, okay? If you've probably noticed, one covers performance management and one covers employee training and development. So sometimes the courses in the College of Business or anywhere, sometimes the title is not it's not all inclusive. So actually in this class, our focus is actually employee training. Okay, so this student learning objectives that the college has decided that we need to focus on for this particular course is much more intensive with employee training and development programs. So you'll see the application component, the hands-on component of this course, the meat, if you will, is focused on you will work in teams to actually develop or improve upon some training and development procedures, programs, processes. More to come on that later, but just keep that in mind, that we're actually, the course is organized so that, and I'm going to talk about this when I get to the schedule a little more, but we're going to start with the employee training and development book, okay, and you're actually going to work through that quickly. Okay, you'll notice it's the front part of the course is pretty loaded, pretty heavy with we're doing like 2 chapters a week. And I want you to understand why we're doing that. I'm not trying to just overload you, but the course is kind of organized into sections or chunks, and we'll talk about that. This is probably a good time to talk about it. Let's go down to the here we go. Kind of an overview. So you've got a couple discussion posts, nothing big there. 150 to 300 word post. You do a little bit of research, look for challenges involving employee training, look for articles on innovations for employee training. We'll start off with that because we're going to start the semester talking about employee training and development, and then about mid-semester, when we move into performance management, we'll do 2 discussion boards there. One where you'll do some research, and again, 150 to 300 words. There's more instructions on Canvas, but looking at current challenges involving performance management practices. So that could be, the annual performance reviews. How has, COVID or things with working remote or anything, what are some current challenges? And then you'll also we'll have a discussion board post about innovations involving performance management. Innovations meaning, what are some companies doing to overcome these challenges, or in this new time, this crazy post-COVID normal that looks very different than 2019 looked. What are some trends that are emerging that seem to be helpful in these areas? Okay, so again, those are, you can see they're 25 points each. Nothing huge there. It's you look for some articles, summarize the articles. So nothing too time involved with that. Now, your team project, this is kind of where the bulk of the course is. This is the meat, if you will. This is a semester-long course. Not obviously a semester-long course. Semester-long project, and you will turn it in. Your final submission will be towards the end of week 15. We'll talk more about this. There'll be significantly more information posted on Canvas within a week or 2. There'll be another video to help get you oriented. But basically, you will form teams. You can self-select members of the class to work with if you choose, and talk about this in Canvas. Actually, this week, you'll notice in this week's module, there's an introduce yourself discussion board. Okay, it's listed here, 0 points. It's optional. All right. I set up this discussion board for you to use it as a platform to network, introduce yourself to your classmates, and try to meet like-minded students that you will be compatible with for this project. The project involves basically there's going to be a couple options. I'm still trying to finalize a few of the details, but when I taught this class last semester, it was like a consulting activity. The students worked with an organization, and the project was very flexible. So it was go in, talk to an organization about challenges that they are facing with employee training and development, and then I would have the teams come back and each one meet with me, and then I would talk to them about ideas for like a proposal. Okay, what can they do to add value, to make it better, to make improvements? Sign off on their idea and their project plan, and then they went to work. And each group ended up going a completely unique and different way, and it was awesome. It was great, but it was. I think I'm going to make a few changes, add a little bit more structure and some more guidance. I may even have an option for, I may have a couple options to choose from. So hold off, to be announced, more information on that. But just so you know, it is involved, and it's application based. So it covers, the project is intensive with the material that you're going to learn from your employee training training textbook. So that's why, so the idea is that you'll spend the first few weeks of the course really going through, diving in head first to that employee training book. And we're going to, like I said, go through 2 chapters a week to get through. There's 8 chapters. So the first month, get through that pretty quickly, because you have to understand the material before you can apply it, right? And so then it'll kind of shift gears once you get a foundation for the concepts and the materials. The course will shift to where you'll start working through the second book, the one on performance management. We'll go through that at a much slower pace, 1 chapter a week, and it's a different type of book. So it's more like a professional, like how to, kind of more like a manual. It's not. It's much easier to read. It's if you can look at them, it's not really written as much like a textbook. So you'll see it's different. So you'll be learning this stuff on performance management, but the idea is that you'll be spending significant time during that period working on your team project. Okay, so you're going to learn the concepts first month on employee training. Then you're going to figure out how to apply them, and I'll be working with you on a consulting type project that will span the rest of the course, basically. In addition, while you're working on that project, then we'll start talking about some concepts and trends and material relating to performance management. Okay, you see exams. We do have 2 exams in this course. They are open book, open note. Okay, so when we're going through and you're looking at the scope of the exam, so basically you have 1 exam for each book. All right, and before you freak out about that, it's not going to be as bad as you're thinking, because you move down to this next item, guided notes. I'm going to show you what these are, but basically each chapter I've created an outline where you're going to it's like an outline with parts missing. So some things might ask you to answer questions. Some parts may be a statement and it's got to fill in the blank, but it's going to help you go through the chapters and read the material and focus on what's important. So those are turned in. You have those due weekly. Those are graded for completion. It's an easy way to make sure you get the 200 points right here. Not only that, but then I write the exam from the guided notes. Okay, so if you've completed the guided notes, then when you go to take the exams, yes, they cover a lot of material, but everything comes from those notes, and we'll talk about it later. It's not going to be the nearly as daunting as you expect. It's, if you do these notes, then they will be what you need to do well on the exams. So I'm not trying to downplay the difficulty. The difficulty of this course, or the challenge, is, well, I want your focus to be on the consulting project, right? I feel that you could sit here and you could learn definitions and study figures and tables till you're blue in the face, and then you go out in the real world and you still wouldn't really, that doesn't mean you know how to apply the stuff. So your knowledge and understanding for what you learn, especially in the employee training and development textbook, it's not really, I'm not trying to, it's not, the exam is open book, because you're going to demonstrate that you understand it by doing it through your project. Okay, so this team project is big and it's important, but I did get a lot of really positive feedback from students who most recently completed this, and they said they got a lot out of it. So it's the type of thing that you get out of it what you put into it. And I cannot stress enough the importance of finding compatible teammates. Okay, so I give you 3 weeks to find teammates. And again, you can use the introduce yourself discussion board that you'll see in Canvas for week 1. It actually, like I said, it's 0 points. It's not required, but I strongly suggest introducing yourself, and don't wait until the end of the 3rd week, because do what you want. The point is that you find compatible people. So if you wait till the end of the 3rd week, then you might find other people who are waiting for that till the end of the 3rd week, and that might be a good match. The idea is finding people with comparable work ethic and schedules and goals. I've tried so many things over the years in terms of finding ways to help students form groups, and in my experience, I'm telling you right now, it comes to certain personality traits, schedules, and expectations. So if you are the type of person that, think of group work in the past, if you have always been just so stressed and so aggravated because everybody in your team wants to wait until the last minute, and that is not you, then you need to post that. Think of it as a personal ad looking for the perfect team members, because wouldn't it be great if you found other individuals who are, want to complete things early, want to, have time, whatever your expectations are. That would be great to kind of find other people who are like that, so you can talk about what you're looking for, what you're like as a team member, and that would be helpful. If you have a crazy schedule, for whatever reason, and you're overseas or whatever, and you're gonna have to, only work on this on Thursday nights or anything like that, that would be good to include as well, because I want you to set yourself up to be successful. Another thing that would be useful to include in the introduction discussion board would be if you have any connections or interest in a particular company. Okay, so if you work for a company that you think they would be up for some help improving aspects of their training, right? You may not be in HR, but that's the cool thing about this is we can make connections and think about things, HR topics. You have a unique perspective. You have the employee perspective, whether you work in HR or not. So for that company, are there issues with their training programs? Do you think they would be open? So if you work for a company, if you have a connection to a company who you think would be open to collaborating on this, I will say that they're gonna get out of it, and you're gonna get out of it what you put in, and as long as so it can be very valuable for both parties if the right arrangement is found, and everybody puts in effort. So consider that. You don't have to have a connection. I've had students that have had a lot of success reaching out to a company that they're interested in working for, and saying, it's kind of like here's, I've really always been interested in this company. Now I have opportunity to, do this project for school. I'd love to, work with you or this organization. And I've had students that it's opened doors and led to some great opportunities. So I can help you if that's the path you are going. Let's talk before you send out a cold turkey email to a CEO of a company or HR partner, because you want to make sure that you word it in a way where they understand the value that they're going to get, and also a realistic expectation in terms of time commitment. The project will be flexible enough that if you're halfway through the project, or after you meet with an organization, you decide who you're using, there will be options of how you can access information and what you can do that will accommodate different organizations. So some organizations are like, yes, come in, please help us do it, and others are more standoffish, reserved. Finding somebody that's all in is great, but I realize that's not always going to happen. So the project will be flexible enough that we'll be able to work with the organization to make sure that not only is it valuable, but that they're comfortable with what they're providing and what they're contributing. Okay, so going back throughout this syllabus, each of these items is discussed a little bit in the syllabus, but you're going to see in Canvas there's a lot more information. I'm going to switch over to Canvas in just a second. At the end of the syllabus, you'll notice a course schedule in really tiny writing, and you may not be able to read that. That's okay. We're just required to include a schedule in the syllabus. The best way is I've got a easier way to see it. Let's see, is this what I'm looking at? Yeah. So this document, where it's just the schedule, that actually don't look much better. It's a little bit bigger. You can, you could expand the other one, make it bigger, but you may need to, you can print it out, and this gives you kind of an overview of what's going on week by week. Okay, so you see this week, verify your attendance, review syllabus and schedule, familiarize yourself with Canvas, watch this orientation video, and then I've got the discussion post to the introduce yourself discussion board post. Got that here. I've got the deadline as ASAP, but this again, you have until the end of the third week to form your project teams. You're not required, again, to form your own team. What happens is on week 4, that Monday, I'll go into Canvas, and whoever's not in a group, I will group all the people that are not in groups together. And so if there's, and I'll show you how to do that again when we get to Canvas. But this is an overview, so if you want to print, it shows you week by week, whatever the assignment is, how many points, when it's due. So week by week, everything is posted. I think I'm not sure. I've got most everything's set up. I think I've got the first few weeks published, and I will go back within the first week and publish the rest. So you'll have you'll be able to see everything for the course, and you can by all means work ahead on the weekly assignments if your schedule works for that. Okay, so I'm going to show you a couple things in Canvas now, again, just to kind of help you get started. Okay, so you'll hear me in the syllabus referring to things as modules. Okay, whenever you hear modules, I'm talking about these things when you go into Canvas, the collapsible kind of, I guess, folders or organization structure. Okay, so we got getting started. This is basically a link to confirm your attendance, some information from the syllabus, how to reach me. If you're new, if you've never used Canvas before, or even if you haven't, maybe you just want to learn some cool things, click here. There's some resources to help you on that, not class specific, but how to utilize the tools and resources available in Canvas. The exams, we talked about them being open book, open note. However, you will use those, you'll complete them using Lockdown Browser, Respondus Monitor. It's a requirement for UWF, so if you've taken an online course before here, you should be familiar with that. You can click here, that gives you information. You're required to have a webcam, so it just basically records you. I do this because, one, it's a requirement that a certain portion of the course is proctored, but also it's important to me that I'm letting you use your notes, I'm letting you use your book. You have as much time as you need, although make sure you realize that you can't just come back and forth. So you need to make sure you're ready to take it, and when you sit down and start the exam, you have one attempt, right? So you can't leave it and come back. But if it takes you an hour, if it takes you 2 hours, whatever, it's not timed. But I do the Respondus Monitor one primarily just to ensure that students are working independently on it, because it's very important that you complete your own notes and that you complete your own exams, because with the group project especially, and this is serious. I know with, you're going to be working with team members, and a lot of times you may be tempted to collaborate on the notes, say, hey, why don't I'll do chapter 5, you do chapter 4. I cannot tell you how much I advise against that. It's going to bite you in the butt, because you need everyone in your group to be solid with the material, because if all of the material, because the project requires, like I said, it's very involved. It's applying different concepts. It's a lot of discretion. So I'm not going to necessarily tell you what to do. That part of it is figuring out what you need to do, and you really need everybody's brain involved in that. This is going to work so much better if you're able to bounce ideas off each other, decide as a group which direction to go, and you are just not going to be able to do that if everybody is a master of one chapter and one chapter only. So make sure you're doing that individually. Okay, so we go down the next module, syllabus and weekly schedule. I just showed you that. We kind of went through the syllabus a little bit, and I showed you the weekly schedule. You can access those here. There will be a team project module. I don't have it published yet because, like I said, I'm finalizing some things. By the second week, or at least by the time your groups are formed, expect to have a lot more information there. Everything will be there. So you'll be ready to rock and roll. Then the next module, so then you'll see a module for each week. Okay, so this summarizes, well, I don't really summarize this. Each weekly module is going to basically have the information that we were just talking about. So, here's week 1, here's all the stuff for week 1. So all of this is what you're going to see. You'll go to the weekly module to access it. Okay, you'll find the weekly module has more detail. So a lot of things here will just say, refer to Canvas, refer to the syllabus, or, we'll just give you the basic what to do. And then when you come to Canvas and look in the module, that's where you're going to find all the details. Okay, so what I suggest doing is always starting where it says start here. So each week we'll have a page that's called an overview, and you're going to click on it. Okay, and this is where I break it down. So provide the information that was here, but a lot of times I'll give you more information, whether it's on this page, or I'll provide a link for you to click on to get the full project instructions. Or what I like about this is everything blue is a hyperlink, and it's linked to that specific resource. Okay, so where here it's like, okay, you need to verify your attendance, you need to review the syllabus. Well, where do I go for all this? Again, I try to streamline it so you're not stressing about the administrative, technical, website finding resources part of things. So here, everything you need is a click away. So verify your attendance, you click on that, and it's going to take you to the specific information, instructions on how to do it. Introduce yourself. You're going to click, you'll click here, and it'll take you to the introduction board. And that was another thing. I should have clarified this up front. I had mentioned that, self-selecting teams. This course is cross-listed, and it will just depend on, there may be a couple more students add during the first week for the graduate, but right now I believe there were 6 graduate students. You don't need to post in this undergraduate or in this introduce yourself discussion board. I'll set something separate up for you guys. I'm going to email y'all, graduate students be looking out. You can email from me. But I'll set you up a separate way to network with each other, and you can decide if you how you want to split up. If you want to split into 3 groups of 2, if you want to do the same work together with the same company as a group of 6, and there will be an additional component. So you're gonna have your project's gonna look a little bit different, but just know you don't need to. I think I've got it set up where you won't even see the introduce yourself discussion board when you log in, because I think I made it attached it just for the undergraduate section. So hopefully this won't confuse you, but I'll email you as well, so you don't need to introduce yourself here. You can access the syllabus, team project. I'm actually should remove that because you don't need to review the team project instructions yet, but you do need to. So, in addition to the verifying your attendance, the only gradable item this week is the discussion-based writing assignment. So the challenges associated with employee training. So like I said, you click on any of it and it's going to take you right to it. Okay, so we've already gotten some people. That's great. Current challenges. So I tell you exactly what you need to do here. Find an interesting article, blah, 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 150 to 300 words. Do that. Okay, so I tried to we won't start the textbook until week 2 to give students time to make sure you can get the book and rocking and rolling. All right, I do want to talk to you about when we get to week 2, okay, you'll see, and again, you'll always start with the overview. So like week 2, we're covering chapters 1 and 2 in the ETD. So ETD is Employee Training and Development. And then I've got to use an acronym for the Performance Management textbook too, so I'm not typing that out each time. Okay, so here we're doing 2 chapters. So you will download you can access the files here, the guided notes for chapter 1, guided notes for chapter 2, and then you'll submit both of those. Whenever you get those done, you'll click here, week 2 guided notes, and you will submit those completed documents there. There is a video. Let's see, week 1, week 2. There's a video instruction for guided notes. You can look at this. It's going to show you what they are. I'll open this up really quick just so you can kind of see. You'll want to download. So again, some things just have a little blank that you're going to fill in. Some things ask you to define. But basically, it just walks you through the textbook, the parts that are going to be most important. Okay, so you will submit those starting week 2, pretty much weekly. And you will submit those within each weekly module. Wherever it says week 2 guided notes, see week 3 guided notes, this is where you'll click to submit, and you can also access them from here as well. So you'll see like there's lots of different paths to get to a lot of the resources. I try to make it so it's easy to find stuff. Okay, let's see, week 4, let's see, where is it? Week 6, you can get to where you're going to take the exam. So, I think that's gotten enough to get started. The last thing I'll show you is how to start, how to form a group in Canvas. So let's say you've talked to your team, you've networked, you've found 3 or 4 people you want to work with. So you want to go under People and click on Project Groups. Okay, and you'll see I've created 7 project groups. Now you will likely see another tab up here that says Student Groups. You do not want to do a student group. That will not count because that's managed by students. Like they are not formal groups. Canvas doesn't recognize them as formal groups, so it won't work from my end. I won't be able to use it. So I need you to put yourself in one of these. Now, before I said that, I want to be real clear. It does not mean to come in here and say, okay, I'm going to add myself. There's 3 people on team 3. I'm going to add myself to there. No, you're not to add yourself to any team with existing members unless you have spoken to them first. Okay, the 3-week period of self-selection is designed for students who want to take initiative and find students that they want to collaborate with. Okay, after 3 weeks is up, I'll go in and I'll figure out what to do with the rest of the students. Either I'll group them in their own group, or you'll be automatically assigned team members after week 3. So do not go and just add yourself. So I think what you'll have to do, again, my screen looks different, but I think one person or whatever will go in first and decide, okay, no one's in team 1, it's open, so you can add yourself and then just communicate with your team. Hey, I added myself to team 1, let's use that one, y'all add yourselves. I don't think within project groups you can't add other people, I don't believe. You can also rename it if you want, it'll let you. So you can say, change the name of the team, whatever. But again, let's see. Yeah, so pretty much if you realize that somebody just added themselves, let me know and I'll address it and move them out and remind them that was not the purpose of this. So lots of ways to communicate. I know that different teams end up doing different things, whether it's group chats or email or texting or some other kind of platform. But an easy way to, obviously you can get together through, identify through the chat or through the discussion board. But if you are getting to a point where you don't want to continue, you don't have to talk about everything there. So an easy way, you can always go to the inbox within Canvas and you do compose and you're going to find the class. Ooh, I don't think this is the right one. Okay, it might not be the right one, but it doesn't matter. So you can either click on students and send an email to students. Hey, I saw your post. I'd really like to work with you, blah, blah. And then when you form a group, so when you're grouped into a project team, then you have the ability to click here and you can grab the group. You can then pick individuals from the group or the whole thing. So that's one easy way. Make sure that you're staying on top of your student email, especially during this process until your team may decide we'll use GroupMe or we'll use something else. But there's always a couple of issues where students are saying we're trying to get started and we can't reach so and then it's because they haven't checked their email. So the longer you wait, obviously, the harder it may be to find individuals that are really motivated to get going on this project. You definitely don't have to wait until week 4 to start. But again, I would not recommend reaching out to, you can start talking to networking and trying to confirm or establish contact and confirm that you have an organization to work with. Like I said, I'll have more information on the project posted soon, so you could wait on that before you reach out, so you'll have a better idea of what you're going to be doing. But then, once you'll see, once you read the project, then as soon as you start going through the guided notes for the employee training and development book, hopefully you'll be getting some ideas on what topics and how you can integrate some things. The last thing I'm going to say is regarding the team project. You'll notice, that's not what I want to do. You'll notice that starting in week 7, is that what it is? Yeah. Starting week 7, you'll see each team is required to schedule one virtual meeting with the instructor at some point between week 7 and week 11 to review their progression with the project. You'll notice it's worth 100 points. I've got this listed in week 7, week 8, week 9, week 11. You only have to do it once. It's only worth 100 points. But I've got it, and it'll be in Canvas in each of those modules too, just as a reminder. You don't have to wait until week 7, okay? And I always end up, there's always several groups who I end up meeting with multiple times. So it's not that we can only meet once, and it's not that we have to wait until week 7, but all teams have to meet with me at least once by no later than the end of week 11. Okay, I strongly suggest that you do it sooner rather than later, because especially if you're struggling, there's no expectations with the meeting. I'll help you wherever you're at, right? So don't if you're struggling, then that might be all the more reason to meet earlier. Okay, you don't have to have any specific deadline. You don't have to have anything specific done, or you don't have to be at a certain stage of the project. but if it's for me to just touch base and to make sure that everybody's on the same page, and we just talk about what's going on, and I give you advice and pointers to wherever you are, if you're just getting started, if you've worked a little bit. So keep that in mind. Also keep in mind, I do want to meet with everyone. I recognize everybody works and is busy, but I've found in the past, the evenings are it seemed to be the best, or weekends, and that's fine with me. Like 8, 7:30, 8, 9, that's typically when most of these project meetings are normally scheduled, and that's fine. It doesn't have to be long, 20, 30 minutes. And then from that point on, I'm happy to meet with individual members, 2 members, 3 members at a time. It doesn't have to be formal. We schedule the meeting in advance, but I do like to meet with everyone one time to make sure everybody's on the same page with stuff. Okay, so I will cut it off there, but just don't be a stranger, and welcome to the class, and we'll get forward to it, and I will be in touch with more information once I've got the information and details about the project finalized. So have a great week. Talk to you soon. Bye.